Fuck it, we do it live is what we say around here.
Fuck it.
Ryan doesn't
Well,
like being. You can let us know what
stop.
you
Just
can let us know
stop.
what you think. But which way looks best? I kind of like being on the right of the screen because I feel like I'm to the right of
Dave,
Ryan.
come on. Can't do
Ryan,
this to me. Can't do
there's
this to
been
me, dude.
there has been mysterious deaths in Iran.
There's no mysterious deaths in the world, David. They die for some reason.
So we're going to talk about this.
Clearly.
Oh, it was just the fog. It was just the fog, which is probably climate change because I don't remember fog until climate change happened. We never really talked about this, and I didn't really look into it all that much. But we're gonna at least brush up on the Harrison Butker thing. He's a kicker for the Chiefs, which has got to be the most boring job in the world. We're gonna talk about AI because Ryan wants to rant about AI, and
It's not
Ryan,
a rant, David. Everything's fine. Go back to bed.
it's a rant, and then Ryan's potentially doing a record. I don't know if Ryan's doing a record. Sometimes we never know what we're gonna get. Before we go further, again, very important that you just let us know which side of the screen you prefer me on.
Yeah, I just wish you would let me explain why it's so crucial, David.
It's not crucial.
Uh,
The Iranian president was killed in a helicopter crash, and they have the new election set for next month now to try and find their next president, which I'm sure is a very important position in Iran, and it's totally not run by terrorist groups. Iranian
yeah,
president.
they probably couldn't wait longer than a month either, right? They had to do it.
Well, you really got to get going with this. Yeah, you need to put a new stooge in place ASAP. The Iranian president Ibrahim Raisi, the country's foreign minister.
Oh, 4 leaders killed in a helicopter crash. No
Well,
one's like,
well, two and others. It was two people and others.
or they them, David.
Here's the famous phrasing. I love this wording. They were found dead at the site of a helicopter crash after hours-long search through a foggy, mountainous region of the country's northwest, state media reported. Which, if you can't trust Iranian state media, what can you trust? The state TV gave no immediate cause for the crash. Iran's first vice president is set to serve as the country's acting president. And authorities have agreed to hold a presidential election on June 28th following the death of President Ibrahim Raisi in the helicopter crash. So helicopter crashes tend to be mysterious, but when you loop it in with the fact of everything that's going on in the world, for what it's worth, if I'm not mistaken, Iran, Russia, and China seem to have a little alliance going, and you might call it an axis, Ryan. You could call it an axis if you'd like.
Axis. Dave, can you just punch in how many people die globally from helicopter crashes?
Globally?
Yeah.
You want me to look how many people die from helicopter crashes?
Yeah. It's got to be a common thing, right? You would assume.
I mean, Kobe died in a helicopter crash.
Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't trying to stop the Illuminati or anything. Seems insignificant until we get some crazy cool number.
Here, let me switch back here. 5 a year average fatal accidents. Oh, that's a goal. Wait a minute. How many accidents? Oh, this is really hard data to find. It's like they don't count helicopter crashes.
Especially on presidents, David.
The annual number also remained below accident totals from 5 and 6 years ago. Preliminary data shows 122 total U.S. helicopter accidents in 19 compared to 121 the year before. That's old data from just the U.S. So I don't know, couple hundred people
a year globally from helicopter crashes.
No, that was the U.S.
Yeah, well, extrude the. I mean, do you think there's some peasant dying on a helicopter crash somewhere?
I would imagine in the world, U.S. ranks among the top in helicopter crashes.
Is that just helicopters per capita, David?
Yeah, well, I don't think there's. I mean, let's be clear. We're a capitalistic society. I don't think a lot of people in India don't have cars.
What about Iran, David? What about Iran?
Iran, they probably got some money. They got all that terrorism money, plus all the money we give them.
The Obama bucks.
Civil aviation accidents. Yeah, it's hard to find globally.
Yeah. I know it seems like a silly number. It's just I think it's funny. I'm not. I mean, let's be honest. How much of the body is intact in a fucking helicopter crash?
I mean, I guess it depends how far fiery. It was in a mountainous area, so I suspect it was very intact, Ryan.
Nice softball landing on some nice uneven terrain.
Well, they were flying through fog. That's like a nice cushy fog. It's like a cloud, right? That's what
Climate
fog
change
is.
caught him.
It's a climate change cloud.
Also, the idea that that thing couldn't be like exploded or a tracking like a C4 blow up. Like, I know I read a lot of Tom Clancy novels, David, but I don't think because what was the other thing last week? There was the European leader that had an attempt on his life as well, and the guy is said to be. I sent you a text actually about the way they worded it, but it said
Who
the
is
guy
it?
was unaffiliated. Yeah, I sent you a text of a screenshot. Might have been 3 days ago, 4 days. Eastern, I think it was Yugoslavia, Slav something
Let's
like a Central
see.
European like nation
I'm gonna find this.
in our text thread. Yeah, I don't like look Ben Shapiro. I don't like buy that this is a Veep
Oh,
episode.
Slovak prime minister has life-threatening injuries after shooting.
Yeah, and they said the guy's a lone wolf and he's not a part of a political group. And
Slovakia's
yeah,
populist prime minister and longtime leader Robert Fico was in a critical condition Wednesday after being shot multiple times at close range in what officials in the Central European country said was likely a politically motivated attack.
David,
It
I've
was
never
probably
heard of
David.
Central
It was
Europe in
probably
my
David
life.
DePape.
Yeah, I've only heard of Western and Eastern Europe, Dave. I didn't know there was a Central Europe.
Well, it's in the middle of the West and the East.
The Middle East? No? All right, gotcha. I don't know, dude. I don't want to get flagged for copyright. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. For
Oh,
telling the truth again.
we did get copyright on YouTube last week.
No, no, Dave. That never happens to us.
Well, it did happen to us. You know what isn't copyright though?
What isn't copyright, Dave?
I hope I have the right one. Like, I'm pretty sure. Let's see here. No, it's copyright. Never mind. Everything's copyright. It's bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't really. I don't believe it.
You don't believe
Like, I didn't.
that he died, or you don't believe that it was just an accident.
I'm just gonna put on a conspiracy cap here. The guy could, bare minimum, fake his death if he wanted to. Let's be honest. And if they truly are ran by terrorists, the terrorists could have blown him up. It wouldn't even have to be like a global world war conspiracy, but granted all the stuff that has already happened that we've seen. I mean, is this the new normal that presidents of countries just die in helicopter crashes? And it's the new normal, like planes crashing in to fucking bridges. Do you know they just blew up the bridge to allow openings to allow people in there? I didn't know that there was boats. There's boats
Wait,
in
what bridge is this?
the bridge. I don't know the name. This hold on. The guy who wrote the Star Spangled Banner. His name. The bridge
Francis Scott
that
Key in Baltimore.
yes, yeah,
The
that
one that got
bridge.
hit by the boat.
Yeah, they did a controlled explosion and it allowed like them to get in there. But there was people living on those barges still stuck behind that boat. I didn't know that. I just saw an article about it. But my point in saying all that is like, is this the new normal that like presidents or political campaigns? I mean, this is like the Kennedy era shit, right? Like, just the magic bullet, right? David assassinated the president. It wasn't 17 guys with sniper rifles. You know,
Is it?
I'm not out of the realm. My main problem, I have not dived deep into this actual Iranian president, if you can call him a president, if they really are truly ran by, you know, global terrorist money. But like I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities to think that this is like a motive here, and none of the news articles reporting this are not saying that it's they're still reporting like accident. And let's just be honest here. Do you guys remember the Malaysian air flight thing that they would talk about, that this magic thing went missing?
The
Years
one that was
later,
shot down by Russia.
they made a documentary on Netflix. And if you paid attention to anything in the fucking world other than Kim Kardashian and Patrick Mahomes, you would understand that like that was, how did you not know that? And now when I'm supposed to believe, when less and less people pay attention to politics, or at least express politics outside of, because David, what we actually do is we provide the alternative narrative at this point, because all we're doing is really doing the questions that journalists aren't doing, and we catch them contradicting themselves, which is very easy to do if you ask the right damn question, which is why I'm saying all of that to say the idea that this guy just magically died in a helicopter crash and it was a foggy thing. Did you show, like, in the day and age of fact check, you'll pull David and I's copyright, or what was the other one? New Zealand election information meddling. We meddled in a foreign election. You'll do that to a YouTube channel with like 300
Was,
viewers, but
was
you
that was that
won't.
was that New
New Zealand?
Zealand?
I
Yeah.
don't remember, but you'll do that to us. But for when it comes to an Iranian president during arguably one of the most important elections in American history, and all these other things that are tied into it, all the Ukraine things, like Ukraine and Iran and Russia and China, David, access a war, right? That whole thing. Like, this isn't out of this. I don't see anything. Was it really foggy? Show me the freaking weather. You have satellite radio or satellite imagery. Show me the freaking foggy. Show me on a map where it was, how it was, where's the location, what was the air altitude. Where we took every photograph on my smartphone. Like every time I make an input on my keyboard from a Wi-Fi connection, you can track my movement through routers and Wi-Fi signals by using the negative sonar image of your body. But I'm supposed to believe that an Iranian president just magically died because of foggy conditions? Like, it isn't foggy all over the place by ragged ass mountains. He just dies in this remote location that's super. And I'm supposed to also believe that these helicopters don't have drone technology built into it like a Trojan horse. If you can auto kill my car with a little black box in there, you're telling me they don't have the ability to hijack that thing remotely and fly that thing wherever they want? Or how about the pilot was in on it? How about he was paid, or his family gets murdered, that he has to fly over this thing and drive his fucking, and there's no journalism. Now, granted, maybe the military knows something I don't, like always. But the idea that I'm just gonna supposed to get spoon fed shit slowly during an election year. The point is of it being spoon fed, David. We said this during the Trump presidency and Biden presidency when it first happened. What would they do to Donald Trump? There would be leaks about this. There would be scandals about this. There would be tweets about this. There'd be censorship. There'd be new journalists. There'd be new congressmen riding the next red Trump MAGA wave. There'd be new funding. Crickets. President dies of a foreign country in a foggy mountain. That's good enough. That's good enough now. Imagine if you told your grandfather that shelled Europe and literally killed Hitler. Like, our grandparents went and killed Hitler, saved the world, killed Hitler. I'm not here to like gloat on it or anything, but imagine if you were to tell them that that happened and that was good enough for you. And you don't think it happens, but like, where are we going with this? Like, how many presidents need to die in a helicopter crash before it's one too many for you to actually question? Tucker Carlson, literally, Chris Cuomo took him to be injected with poison made by big pharmaceutical companies that pay for all the ad revenue on the very program he told you to get injected by offering me a coupon for a free cheeseburger or whatever it was, depending on your city, and then guilt me about killing grandma and wear a mask that don't work. So you did all this shit. That's what it took for that guy to wake up? Maybe I'm like being naive that it's going to take one or two presidents. Maybe it's going to take Donald Trump dying in a plane crash, or what if Robert F. Kennedy dies in a plane crash, David, or a
After they
helicopter crash?
after they endlessly denied
Killed every
him
Kennedy.
security detail.
Yeah, and killed every Kennedy ever that ever said, "Nah, we're not doing something." That the swamp. It wasn't called a swamp. It wasn't called the establishment. It wasn't called the deep state. They didn't have a fucking term for it other than conspiracy theorists. But nowadays, we openly have this information. We're just like, bread is $7. You'll all have to work 7 days a week and work 2 jobs.
Ooh, think what that would do for the unemployment rate, though. It'd be so low.
Yeah, I'm glad we all have to work 2 minimum wage jobs, David, to afford the same bread that I could afford with like not even a part-time job a year ago. And consider it job growth. Consider it growth. That's the other terrible thing is they're lowering quality and saying it's growth. If quality goes down, it's not growth, it's degradation. It's actually the natural occurring process, the things that are great, right? Like if you paint a beautiful painting, leave it in the sun, it will fade. Same thing's going to happen to all the quality in the world. And you want quality parts for your car that you drive your family in, or the food you eat, you want it to be quality, not laced with poisons. I mean, we have super healthy food supply here in America.
Well, it is filled with plastics, Ryan. And
I know
think
we're all
the
over the place, and this started with
Lunchables
World
have
War,
lead.
Dave, but it's aggravating. It's not good enough for me. Honestly, it's not fucking good enough. This is what's, once again, they'll literally take our shit off the internet for copyright when all we do is provide political commentary on the art. If anything, we're driving people to their site. We're adding to the content. This is legal, YouTube, you bastards. Fuck YouTube. I said that 10 times this week. Fuck YouTube. It's bothering. Just get in the oven, Jews. Just like what? Where am I? Seriously, Dave, am I missing it? Like, how many things have to happen? A fucking bridge got collapsed.
After the black box went down for 2 minutes.
Like, would that be good enough for your grandparents that went and had to go kill Hitler because a bunch of people just blindly followed orders, right? It's bullshit. The guy got murdered. It was a political assassination. The Central European guy, your lone wolf, yeah, it's called a mercenary. Archduke Franz Ferdinand was killed by one guy, David. It was a whole bunch of people in on it, sure.
Well, it was just a lone wolf. It was just a lone wolf.
This is what's crazy. The idea, you know what's also gnarly? They'll make a big deal about school shooting, though, when that's a lone wolf, but they won't make a big deal about a lone wolf when it's a fucking leader of another country. That's crazy. Now, granted, they should both be taken at their severity, obviously. But what are we talking about?
Consistency.
During in Central Europe, David, where is Ukraine again, David?
Oh, well, that's Eastern Europe. They consider it Eastern Europe.
People can't even find Idaho on a map, and then they're referencing these central countries. There's no central. Whatever. I don't care. I know it's just words and adjectives and lines, people, but it's dumb. I'm not stupid. But they'll censor us. You won't give me any actual fact check on a world leader dying in a helicopter crash or the guy getting almost assassinated. But you know everything we're doing. You literally signed a bill to spy on us more to prevent shit like this from happening. In our country, at least. But you say it's for foreign actors. Why you keep the border open? So you're making me unsafe on purpose and then spying on me to say it's to help me. While you do all the things to destabilize the very safety net we have, like make parents work all these shifts so they're not home with their kids to protect them in case somebody breaks in. I don't branch a lot of topics here, David, altogether, but this is the World War III. Like when I told you guys we're in World War III, it's all of it. Like, didn't we come on and say it's a civil war, David? It's a political war. It's an economic war. It's an information war. It's a space war. It's every war ever imaginable. We're literally in the middle of it. That's why they're not going to tell you you're in a world war, because it would waken up certain sections of all these little fucking games and lies they've had to play on us to make me believe that presidents dying in plane crashes and bridges being collapsed by boats and huge barges that lost their black box information. You have I can smash my iPhone. You know every fucking thing I ever said. You can censor Dave and I's information before it's even posted on the internet, but you don't know that information. I thought I'm a nobody, David, but you don't have the information on everybody. They have all the same shit, don't they? You're telling me nobody knows that thing wasn't able to be tracked by GPS Nobody in the Iranian government.
Now,
Now,
it's an
granted,
Iranian helicopter. I'm sure it doesn't have that kind of technology.
the United States can spy on every inch of the globe, though. Google Maps, bro, is pretty good. I can see the pyramids from my house, or at least what they tell me
Well,
it looks
surely
like.
you can't see Iran with Google Maps.
Tell me when I'm wrong, man. We're in the World War. They didn't tell you because they're not gonna tell you. And I'm not here just bitching keyboard warrior. And like we have to like you really got to think about the stuff they tell us. Like this isn't normal. This is not healthy society shit.
Where
This
did
isn't
he
like
crash?
if your wife did this to you,
That's
you
Iraq.
wouldn't believe her.
Why did it bring me to Iraq? Did I say Iraq? I'm pretty sure I said Iran. Well, that's good. Google doesn't know what Iran is. Okay.
Kuwait, yes, Iraq, Saudi
Sick.
Arabia. Isn't Iran right there by Iraq?
Yeah, am I missing something? Oh, there it is. Turn on. Weird. Why doesn't it label it? Crash in a mountainous range.
Yeah, where did the thing? Look up where that thing actually did crash. I'm just fucking curious. National parks and third world countries sounds crazy, don't it? Here I am talking on my ass. Iran's pretty good, actually. Mashahad.
Where did it crash? Northwestern Iran. Oh, okay. That's a start.
Oh, just over by, you know, the
It's in the
middle,
northwest region.
northwest region of Iran.
Made a hard landing. Where? Where did it make a hard landing? It was technical failure. No traces of survivors. Wait, what? There were no traces of survivors among those flying. Well, that's so they didn't find the body. It was difficult to navigate because of darkness, dense fog, and rain. Well, it doesn't tell you where it crashed. It was northwest. So here-ish. I mean, this would be mountainous, right? I don't know. They don't tell you.
It's weird. I figured you'd want, people would want to know that. Probably be important.
Northwest Iran. Okay, well, it was here somewhere. Unbelievable.
Democracy dies in the dark, though, David.
This looks like a
Like I
mountain.
said, dude, during Trump presidency, there's a leak about it. Yo, they're actually they're giving you testimony inside Trump's court proceedings, word for word, apparently. But they don't know where this guy died in a fucking helicopter crash, and he's a president of a terrorist ran country that has the potential to make nuclear warheads. No one knows that. Or we can't know. Joe Rogan can talk about aliens, though. That's fine for the military to let it out finally.
Well, Ryan, enough about Iran and their meaningless president dying in a helicopter crash. I should say we here at December 1773 and the Weekly Show, Ryan, we like to focus on things that really matter. For example, athletes in America.
Yeah, let's go. Draft time, baby. What did he say?
Uh, well,
Tell me he praised Jesus.
Well, here's what he said. So full disclosure, I didn't know what had happened or what he said. Eve showed me, and when she read the part, I said, "Is that supposed to be offensive?"
All right, let's go. I'm waiting for it. Does he drop the N bomb, David? Clearly, it must be the
No,
N bomb.
no, didn't do that. That would
The
be
R
great.
word. Hard R.
No, retard.
Yeah.
That one.
Well, I'm not supposed to say that on X, David, the free speech platform, the free speech alternative to
I don't know where I don't know where
Facebook.
they fall with retard right now.
Oh, what about
Faggot's
the
good
F
to
word,
go.
David? Yeah, fags. Fags.
The NFL
So
is just
Tristan Tate's. I have a gay and disabled family members, but I'm still going to use the word fag and retard.
the NFL is distancing itself from controversial comments by Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker during a recent commencement address. In addition to calling Pride Month a deadly sin and bemoaning diversity and equity initiatives, so just so we're clear, keep like a tally of what the left finds offensive because they're going to brush off DEI. They're going to brush off gayness because what they're really offended by is he set off waves of criticism when he suggested that women find more fulfillment through getting married than careers. That's it.
Misogyny.
That's it. Is it?
Don't have a family.
It's like
Go
it's
work.
just just putting it out there, but like that's a statistically proven thing, right? So just like the thing that was offensive is that having a family and having children is fulfilling. That was the offensive speech.
You know what's crazy too? Is like the idea that children are fulfilling only to women is foolish as well. Like children are fulfilling to, hopefully, in most cases, even people that don't have the best upbringings, somebody normally loves you, or you have some kind of community in your family that love you genuinely. Might be one or two people, but like it makes people better. Like it's just as like the idea that we're not trying to have children to leave the world for is making us all cynical to even destroy it further because we don't think like there's no intrinsic value. And then you hear things like this cool biology stat that like when you have a child, even men, a part of your brain grows that doesn't get access unless you have children. So it's like there's a whole, to Jordan Peterson's point, there's a whole hidden potential in you biologically that's waiting to be wired, but you have to finish wiring it by having children. Basically telling you that there's a biological urge in all of us to want to be parents. There's literally, our brain is engaged and wired to be parents. We're literally wired to make ourselves. We're not self-replicating, but just replicating enough to look just enough like me, but have enough genetic diversity to pass on my strong enough genes to hopefully live another 100 years. Am I wrong? Once again, am I fucking wrong? Yeah, no
Well,
wonder that's a deadly sin.
everything you just said is wildly offensive, Ryan. But here's it. Here's the actual quote.
Was literally my high school education. It's deadly offensive now. Everything I'm told to trust the science, but the science I learned is now deadly offensive. God forbid I say there's only two sexes, not even genders. Once again, Jordan Peterson said, "Don't you have to use you have to beat them at their game." I just heard I think it was Matt Walsh actually on Rogan. I heard a clip. I know I shit talk him, but I keep my ear to the streets with these people. Like you have to. Like the reason we made them famous is to speak this, is to speak to hold these people to the fire, to bring up people getting censored on YouTube. I'm not asking for a call out, Ben Shapiro, but like you should be, like if you're a champion, you should be trying to rally with people, and we should be holding them accountable. But he was talking, and um, Rogan like pitched the whole thing about like at first he didn't even think Joe Rogan didn't even think it was a big deal to make a big deal about the pronoun thing, but now look at where it's taken us, and that's kind of like
It's
the thing,
always
like
it's always the slippery slope, though.
yeah, and there's a point that Matt Walsh makes that I quite like, and it's a good frame of reference. And he says there's a reason why the left makes such a big deal about it. Like if it truly didn't matter, the left wouldn't care about it either. And there's a reason why they're going after the things they're going after, and that in itself is all the more reason to defend it. And at first, like you almost think it just sounds like contrarian to do the opposite of what they're doing. Like, oh, I'm just you're playing the team politics. But when you look at what certain things that they're pushing are coming for, they're coming after your family, your faith, and your way of life. So
Yeah.
while displacing it with the one that they're giving you, right? Like, and that's the other nefarious thing. And you can blame it doesn't have to be conspiracy, David. It could be just literally corporations are greedy, money hungry bastards and want you to like kill religion and replace it with the iPhone every year. That like sure, McDonald's, sure. But consumerism, if if you hear all these podcasters say that after 80 grand your standard of living doesn't change your happiness, why does the guy at McDonald's get up every day when he knows he's poisoning people? It's not because of money. These people think like this is their duty to do this to us. And shit like this shows it.
Right, and these are the actual offensive words here. I want to speak directly to
They're
you
literally
briefly.
controlling your language. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry. They're literally controlling this guy's famous.
Well,
What
let's
the, like
just because we
sorry, dude.
no, because it's just important to hear what he actually says too. Because sometimes just getting it CNN secondhand isn't good. So here's the actual quote. I want to speak to you directly to you briefly because I think it's you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross the stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. This is offensive speech to the left. And to Ryan's point, there's a reason they consider this offensive. They don't like the family unit because it's the number one thing that leads to uprising, leads to people standing up to extremism and big government and
Dude, it's
control.
everything. It's the smallest form of government is a family. You have the individual, you have a couple, you have a third as a family. That's a government. You have discipline for yourself, you have habits for your significant other, and then when you have a family, you have a unit, you have a system, you have wheels. The more kids you have, the more grandparents. Like that's the idea of growing your family, at least in my opinion. I know I'm breaking it down. It's the smallest form of government. It's self-government, the self of your family, the selfishness of your family to be their own government, to be good to each other. Like I know this is just the same. This is the problem with Ben Shapiro. Like this is actually what they're talking about. But they've guided you. They've gotten caught in the money, and they're going to be able to set sail. Ben Shapiro can go to any island he wants and rapes kids on Epstein.
Well, he goes to Israel.
Yeah, I'm sure this guy, dude. The squeaky clean people are not squeaky clean, and it's coming out, dude. It's unreal. Just supposed to be a bystander to this. They're literally telling you that it's offensive for somebody to say you're going to be a parent, while simultaneously telling you that it's okay that your children change their gender at an age before consent, so that when they can consent to actual legal sex to maybe reproduce and start a family, they literally can't because you chemically castrated them as a child. Those guys are on YouTube, David, and they don't have copyright strikes. They don't have their videos demonetized, but you and I do, because we have medical misinformation. Because I interfered in foreign elections, but you can interfere in little people's private parts.
Is this literally the smallest form of divide and conquer?
Yes, this is in Marxism. It's destroy the families, literally in Marxism. This is cultural Marxism on the politics stuff. But yeah, we're talking, they're literally destroying your families on purpose. It's not by accident. Cultural Marxism. Nobody knows what that means, Jordan Peterson. We're not fucking smart. They're trying to castrate your children and break you and your wife up and steal your retirement and make you good slaves to pay taxes to a house you'll never pay off. That's what is so hard to say that, Ben Shapiro? You don't need 100 episodes a month. Seriously, what are we talking about? Alex Jones predicted 9/11 in 3 minutes. What are we talking about? That's the other thing I thought about, Dave. They're very welcome come a day. If this is offensive, they'll come for us, literally. And I'll have to go down to a courthouse. And you know what my lawyer's going to tell us? Our lawyer, if we get him, they're going to tell you to just close your mouth. You'll get a lower sentence. And if you think I'm going to sit there when I already tried to, like, talk about it and be a good little boy and play your little rules. And I'm not going to light up a courthouse. And will I be a keyboard warrior then? Drag me off and shoot me in the head? It's crazyville. They're literally destroying our families. They're giving CNN is paying people to print this shit. They're complicit in it. But Donald Trump tweeting march peacefully down Pennsylvania Avenue is inciting a riot. And he got impeached for it, for trying to overthrow the election process. But somebody writing an article that it's sinful, that a professional football player that millions of people look up to and literally craft their life around because they do incredible things, quite frankly, says that go have a family. To women that were sold the most lies. Women, when you lie, women buy.
I'm just gonna say it. January 6th did not go nearly far enough. It was too peaceful. Nobody was armed. One person was killed. It was a
January
protest.
6th should be happening every day. How much does bread need to be? Lucky Charms are cheaper at Dave's house than me, and they make them here.
Someone on X
just
said
keep doing it. Just keep going to fucking work. This is crazy. I'm not saying revolt, but like, dude, what do we actually do? You got to talk to we have to figure something out. There's presidents dying in plane crashes or airplane crashes that literally run terrorist organizations that have nukes during election year when everything's expensive. They literally make the phone addictive so that you don't remember the things you read. It's all at one time, though. I'm sorry. What was the person I said? I mean, be rude to our viewers. I try to not get frustrated, and it's not frustrating. The thing I realize is that this is how millions of people feel. They just don't know even how to say it because they don't even know how bad they're being freaking screwed. That people won't even see the helicopter crash of an Iranian president ever. They won't even know that's a story. And it could affect their whole life. It could literally take their life from them. Nuclear war. And once again, it's not even plug into this thing. We should, like, with all the information we have better questioning. We should have better reporting. We can debunk shit in real time, but you can censor in real time. You can exaggerate things in real time. You can spread information in real time, but we can't get a truth.
Well, we're not gonna have good journalism. I mean, Chris Cuomo was just on Patrick Bet David. We covered it, talking about, well, on what basis would I question the vaccine when on the basis that you're a journalist, on the basis that you should question everything.
Dude, well, look at just the idea that even Tucker, look at how fucking smart that guy is. Dude forgot more about government and system. Like Ben Shapiro, same thing. And they believe it. The best of us believe it. Oh, I didn't. I had to start questioning everything after the Trump spy. You lived your whole life and never was like, ah. Like, look at their vetting process. You don't think that that's on purpose? They're so good at vetting, they don't even let you know that they vet. They just call it the application process. Can you lift 50 pounds? That's vetting technically, but like, dude, come on. Chris Cuomo got all the way up to the top by literally drinking the Kool-Aid. And then when it was poisoned, it's a problem. I'm supposed to feel sorry for him. But none of you questioned if it was Kool-Aid. You just saw Kool-Aid a couple times. You saw him make Kool-Aid a couple times. But you didn't see him make Kool-Aid every time. And that's to your point, David, about being a journalist. Yo, I don't need to see the chef cook per se, but if my job is to judge this chef's cooking, I probably should see the chef cook. And then I rely on those people that tell me how good the cook is for me to go to the restaurant. But I don't get that. I get told actually to buy AI programs, David, to have AI take it over. Which I'll tell you this right now. I heard a thing from his name is Tom Butker or something, BYK. Impact Theory is the name of his program on YouTube. And he is a self-made millionaire, billionaire with a wife that they did it together. It's a crazy story. I think he had problems with everything, and he's a little dorky, and It's a cool story. The point is he had some dude on about AI. It
Tom
was very
Bilyeu,
by yeah. He's got glasses.
Eilyeu.
Yeah, yeah,
Tom with glasses. Perfect.
yeah, yeah. It's like guess who. The point is, he had an episode. It might have been like a month or two old at the most, but it was dealing with AI. I could pull it up on my phone if you don't have to. But the guy that was on there, I don't know what his credentials was, and it was a very fascinating podcast. I'm not here to downplay the quality of what I actually listened to. Not that I learned because it's so complicated, and obviously I'm a skeptic to AI, and I think the worst and with it, and but it Dave, this is kind of like the alien thing in tandem almost. You know what I mean? Because it's like we're assuming that AI's programming in itself will eventually write into it to be like humanitarian. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I think we've kind of had this discussion before, but you can break a lot down by if you're pro or anti-human. I know where we stand.
Yeah. So I mean, but AI would tell us to cut fossil fuels, even though millions would starve, for example. So how is that possible? Because what would AI judge if AI was told to judge, make the world itself the healthiest thing it can be? And this is the thing. I guess I'm putting the cart before the horse, but you kind of have to, I guess, to understand this. My problem is, and we've said it, where between Stephen Hawking and Donald Trump do you fall on the AI scale? But that's kind of like the simple representation of that these are programs. And the idea that there's not going to be programs that are bad or malevolent. And it's, I'm not saying that AI isn't going to be humanitarian and evolve to a point that it doesn't need violence, and that I can ask a little nanobot to be like, yo, just make me steak dinner, and it can conjure. Because this guy basically said when we get to a certain level, we'll be able to just make everything in the universe that we need is in molecule form. We just can't grab it and put it together. So when we get AI, we're going to be able to have these nanotechnology and put cells together. And I know this is science fiction and it may not happen in our lifetime. Fine. I'm just simply saying, like, we're assuming that this thing is trying to build a life that we're involved with it. Not that it would even kill us, but just like that, the idea that it's naturally going to evolve, that it's going to be like, I guess, have my best interest in heart. I don't understand it, and I'm supposed to put all my faith, my understanding, and truths in it to do it for me.
Yeah, I guess why would it have our interest?
Yeah, why?
Why,
Like seriously, why would a computer care about us? It
there's
doesn't care
humans
about the grass. The
there's
only
humans who
reason
are
it would care,
anti-human. Why would a robot give a shit?
the only reason a robot would care about a human, Dave, to your point, is if it was told to care about humans. So what if the systems that we build initially, let's say it's the very early cellular brain that all the AI is then built off of, what if it never goes back and fixes its code? Like, I don't know, it may think its first system may be that humans are bad, and that gets ingrained quantumly, and it never, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I'm not smart, but like this idea that the only reason it would care about us is if it was told that we're important.
Yes. Yeah, of
Just
course.
like the earth, like if we were to tell that to fix all the global problems of climate change, for example, what we're basically giving this is what we do now with AI. This is what they all tell us, right? All the AI dorks, David, tell us it's about your questioning, which I'll get back to about philosophy, which is why we are prophets, David, in a way, because all we do is ask questions in an age when people only get answers.
I think an important thing to remember about AI is you've kind of touched on this and said this already, but like you can think of AI like a baby. Like, right, a baby comes into the world, it doesn't know anything other than what it's biologically driven to know. And with AI, it doesn't have biologics. So it's a complete blank slate. It doesn't know anything until you tell it to know something.
I mean, the show Westworld kind of ingrains on it, and it's kind of once again romanticized. But the reason that they tell stories is so that you pay attention, because it's the only way to really grab your full conscious attention is like super deep symbolism that you don't understand. I know that's all over the place, but this type of thinking is more important now more than ever. And I'm not special. Like I'm literally just I don't believe them. I don't believe this, and I'm gonna ask questions, and hopefully one day I will believe it and trust it. But
I, I don't know how you
yeah,
could.
this what Westworld gets into this, that like as these machines, I don't know if you know the story, but basically it's like it's basically like the Disneyland of the world, and you go there, it's the Wild West, and everything's ran by computer, like AI robots. So like you'll go on, and it's basically a real life video game. So you'll go live like a real life. You'll basically play Red Dead Redemption in real life, and all
What?
those
Hold on.
NPCs.
What is this?
It's a TV
Westworld?
show, Westworld.
Oh,
Anthony
it's the
Hopkins
show.
was in
Okay.
it. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it's great. It's one of the few shows that I really watched in general before I stopped really watching shows. The point is this: they kind of hint at it that the machines revolt back because they keep getting killed, and they kind of get upset with it. They kind of get sick of getting killed, and then after the machine's killed, they drag it back to a factory and they wipe its brain, and then they redress the person to a different task and a different quest and send them back into the world. And after these machines do this a few 100,000 times, whatever it is, they get sick of it, and then they fight back and just Terminator shit. And I'm not saying this is going to happen. The point is that they only Jordan Peterson always talks about value and why value in his newer book, his second 12 rules for life. He said that don't underestimate like pointing and your attention and where it goes. And he realized that children, before they talk, they point at everything, and everybody listens to pointing, right? Like there's something about like, look over there. That's so important. And it makes sense if you want to survive in the jungle, like
Well,
we
you could
evolved.
expand that to body language in general. General.
Yeah. Right. Right.
You
So
could
like
read so
there's
much from a person's positioning and hand usage and the look in their eyes and facial expressions, and you can almost get all the information you need without words.
you probably actually do. And then you talk yourself out of them with conversation.
You're probably
Because what
right.
do
That's a big
yeah,
time trust your senses moment right there.
trust your gut, right? And then what do men judge each other on in the first nanosecond? It's not your looks, it's does he look me in the eye? Like, and then you shake hands, and does he have a good handshake?
I
There's a
don't know if
reason.
I don't know if I ever brought this up on the show before. We had a debate at work about a handshake for so like doing interviews, right? As a man, I expect another man to really give me a good grip and look me in the eyes, right? That's a baseline common sense handshake. That's just how you do a handshake. We had somebody come in, and obviously I can't say too much, but she gave a very limp handshake. Now, my opinion is she's a younger woman, and I expected a limp handshake. Other people at work said, "Well, I want a firm handshake." And I said, "From a man, I agree 100%. From a woman, I expect a different handshake."
How you hold their hand different? Like it's the
How
hi, nice
how
to.
how how much of a microcosm, right, of just general biological differences between men and women is a handshake, right?
It's everything. I mean,
A
it
man's
literally is
handshake
the micro kiss.
it should be everything I need it to be. A good, strong,
You can
right,
tell
look
a
me in the
lot.
eye, no
Like this
bullshit.
dude, yeah, he's strong. He's got to be competent in something if he's strong. Like if his hands and hand strength is the number one. Like they can tell your body to weight ratio off your grip strength. One of the things that is a biological marker of main differences between men and women, at least historically, it's now a little different, was the average grip strength between men and women. Men was always higher. That's one of the pinnacle markers. We can literally grab things better. Like pounds per square inch, down measurable across all age groups. Old men are stronger than old ladies. Like it don't like I think even old men are stronger than younger like 20-year younger, and these guys are still strong. That type of so yeah, like it's the things they take. And the point is like really when we get back to this AI thing, because I think it's a little foolish. These guys have sipped it so long. And granted, I hope I'm wrong, but Will Smith was wrong in iRobot. And if I got to be Will Smith, I will. Fine. Keep your wife's name out my mouth still. So, but dude, the the idea that I think that these things are just going to naturally have my best interest at heart is a little light thinking. And if I were to roll up to you on the side of the road with a super cool looking spaceship and say, climb in, we're going to fly to the future, you'd be like, nah, I'm good, dude. But I'm supposed to trust a metal clad robot with all the technology in the world that can fly to the sun and fucking walk underwater and like crush my whole body with like a finger flick. But it just, and it's because, and then my rationale for people telling me that, oh, you're overreacting is you just have a human brain. It's smarter than us. It did all the calculations for us. It's not good enough. Like, and if we're running the world on just calculations and math, Terrence Howard fucked that whole thing up in that Joe Rogan interview. Math's a lie. It's all a
Ryan,
lie.
one of the weirdest things, and this is a study from a sales group, but one of the weirdest things is that people are conditioned to trust. I don't. Maybe conditioned is the wrong word. Maybe it's just a happenstance. People tend to trust what I should say are machines more than people. If you had a salesperson ask, "Would you like to buy whatever product?" You can make it whatever it is, or you had a machine ask the question, and this I'll go into tipping about this too. People are like, I don't remember the exact numbers, so you don't quote me on any of this, but people are like 49% more likely to buy something presented on a computer than they are from a person because they trust the information from the computer. And it's the
Well, they
same thing
really
with tipping.
yeah, you're right, but what they actually value is their privacy. See, that's the problem. Like the human condition makes you be vulnerable. People aren't used to being vulnerable. You're right, David, obviously. But even their wording in their articles is taking away that true thing that like the reason you feel more comfortable behind devices is because you have privacy. It's an innate value. That's why it's a fucking amendment. Just take our sorry, David. Go ahead.
That well, no, they did a very similar study with tipping. Anyone has been somewhere, bought something, and they turn the thing around, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they say, and they don't say anything. They just turn it around, and you're supposed to just click one, right? It was another astonishing number, like 75% higher tips or something when using the tablet. So it's really weird stuff that people just for whatever reason, maybe it's privacy or whatever, but for whatever reason, people on a computer are way more likely to trust the information, buy the product, give a tip.
Well, it's also, screen wise, dopamine's release. You feel good. You're getting this high in itself, and then you're tipping. It's almost, I'm not a psychologist, YouTube, but this to just round to the AI thing. This I think I'm done even prefacing about being a psychologist because what I actually do, I do like blue collar philosophy. We called it all those times ago, Dave. But like in reality, the guy that I listen to about all this AI shit on this Tom Boyko whatever show, he said the actually most important thing we're teaching skills for people that will be like that we won't even be able to use because AI will take them. And he's like, what we actually need to be teaching our kids is how to be better question askers. Because basically, the limit of AI will be the limit of the question you can ask. So I felt super powerful when I heard that because there's that saying, if Einstein really said it, I don't care, but I need my AI bot to fact check it. But Einstein said that creativity and imagination is more powerful than intelligence. And we may actually get to a point that just because I can ask questions in a room of a million people, there's only going to be one or two questions asked. How powerful are you if you can ask three questions? And it may come down to a place that literally there's less and less curious people out there because we'll be so filled with answers. And I've come on this program and I said I think knowledge was more valuable the harder it was to obtain. And what happens when all the knowledge of all of human experience, of all of mankind, of all of the universe is always all available, and I don't even got to search anymore. I can just tell AI to tell me the history of everything that ever happened in a 5-minute story. And it will gather all that information and snap it together for me. Imagine that dopamine high, David, when you think you know everything about everything and you didn't even learn anything because you didn't have to do anything to get everything. See, right there, David, everything I just said, this is what's crazy. Okay. Because they're actually, and if you, I'm not crazy, but they're taking that very statement and wiring it in their fucking algorithm. Okay. I'm literally building with my questions. As far as I'm concerned, I'm the most powerful man in the universe right now. My superpower hasn't been tapped into yet. You guys are waiting on them. They're using me to build the thing that will now be my superpower because I'll ask questions. You people won't, right? Because you people were told, don't ask questions, you conspiracy theorists. Don't ask about chemtrails, you conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, on what basis? On what basis do we ask questions, right?
Because
First
I'm
and foremost,
curious,
there he
David.
is, a journalist telling everybody on what basis was I supposed to ask a question.
Yep,
That
first
pissed
guy
me
to get
off more than
replaced.
anything. More than anything Ben Shapiro ever fucking said was a journalist telling me on what basis should I have asked a question about a chemical getting injected into your body. Fucking unbelievable. I'm still mad
So
about that.
yeah, we're gonna be mad forever. And fuck YouTube, you fucking pricks. Because you know what? Like literally to everything that I've learned with all the science, trust the science, Dave. And the scientists are telling me that the most powerful thing we can teach each other right now, the most powerful skill on earth, David, is the ability to ask questions. And if we're going to go that route of thinking, I will quote Orwell like I have 100 million times in this program because that literally started this whole thing that these people know exactly what they're doing when they lie to you and mislead you so that you're in the dark. But he said, in order to be conscious, you must rebel. And in order to rebel, you must be conscious. And I'll go further. In order to ask a question, you must be conscious. In order to be conscious, you must ask questions. But I'm the crazy one. This is a superpower, David. We have a superpower. Get fucking mocked and ridiculed and pushed down in an algorithm that didn't exist a year ago.
Solid. Solid rant, Ryan.
So more than anything, I'm literally taking away that I'm not tolerating it anymore. I'm not taking it from anybody. It's not a thing to be joked about anymore, guys. Because the very thing in the future that we're all going to be involved with is your ability, and your limit of your imagination will literally dictate the quality of your life. Because the tools that you're going to have to use are literally about asking questions. And we were never taught how to ask questions, Dave. We were never taught how to think rationally. We were never taught how to think outside of the box and be creative and all this stuff. And the people that do think like that were the damn misfits. They were your artists and your skateboarders and your misunderstood girls, the people that were bullied, the trauma people, the sad stories, the literally. That's why comic like the superhero stories, right? Dave, like Spider-Man. He's got to save the world and raise his grandma, right? Like those are the people that like have the trait that we need, and we shun them. Like Tucker Carlson said that. Like I just think there's some prophets in the world. I came on here before he even said that and said artistic people are prophets. I'm not making this up. It comes to me, right? That's the whole idea. I don't even like getting on a soapbox like this. But if you're telling me to all this guy understood AI at such a level, he knew he was glossing you the road, the people we're supposed to trust, the ones that the billionaires are interviewing. He said the most powerful thing we have now is question asking. And we have less people asking questions now more than ever. So I won't go quietly into the night. They can drag, once again, you drag me in front of a court, or I cannot wait to interview Neil deGrasse Tyson for the program, David. Clearly, he would want to go on here to the greatest question asker in all of human history.
Well, what's he gonna say, Ryan? Because really, science is asking questions. That's what science
David,
is. That's literally. In fact, they nicknamed something the process, right? The scientific process. It's
well, the
literally just
science.
asking questions and constantly trying to break down a theory. That's what it is. It's constantly questioning a theory. The scientific process now is conspiracy theories.
Well, David, what happens if after 5,000 years of theory that you have been able to replicate very sophisticatedly, repeatedly, and endlessly nearly until something comes along and could possibly disrupt that? Surely the whole community would embrace it, right? Because it's this new way of thinking, right? It would be like Newtonian physics was discovered again.
You would think so.
Yeah. Well, I'll just go to
But
the
don't
simultaneous
worry about the plastics in your food, Ryan. It's parts per million.
parts
Don't
per
ask
million. I eat
questions.
a
Don't
million
ask
times.
questions, Ryan. On what basis are you asking questions?
I eat a million times in my lifetime, David. I chew a million times. Do you know that parts per million of lacquer thinner gives your dick cancer?
Dick cancer.
It's only parts per million, David. Yeah, isocyanates travel through your whole body. Your lymph node system pick up isocyanates instantly. YouTube, I am a scientist and a chemist and the greatest question asker ever.
Well, if it's only parts per million, is it just the tip?
Well, I have parts per million means semen, David. Parts. What were we talking about? I'm so lost now. Oh, question ask? No. Oh, David, you got to pull up. I don't know if you could pull up a short of the Terrence Howard Joe Rogan podcast.
Short. Which ones are shorts?
Well, like literally, or like the reels, whatever. I don't know. See, this is a
Well, here's
problem.
the thing: you're saying reels and shorts. Shorts are YouTube, right? Facebook is something.
Fuck you. Go to YouTube because they're
Reels?
gonna be. I know they're gonna be there. YouTube,
Terrence
and
Howard.
then type Terrence Howard JRE. This, I know I'm very critical of these people, but there's a reason I listened to Terrence Howard. I don't know if I talked about it on the program, but a few weeks ago I came across his speech he gave at MIT. Did I talk about this, Dave? Do you remember?
It's
It's the speech about math, and he has you pull out a calculator and.
oh, here he is. There's some guy in front of him, dude. Joe Rogan doesn't believe in shorts. I can tell you that.
I can't hear you. It's odd that the audio cut out. Yeah, look at this. Same thing happened to Rogan. For the record, Terrence Howard, when he was on the program talking about stuff, he had the same type of computer issues that Dave and I always seem to have. And he asked Joe if it ever happened, and he told him no. Bless you. But this interview, Dave, he literally has patents on shapes in the universe off the tree of life. You know the tree of life symbol, David?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to pull that up for the viewers, maybe even. The tree of life symbol. That is where he goes on to describe it in the podcast. And obviously, I've only listened to it one time, and I'm an idiot and all that. He said that all of our mathematics is based on a straight line, and the universe does not operate in a straight line. Right? The universe is curved. And he goes on to say that sacred geometry might be the way. I mean, that is kind of like we're getting, like it's the flower of life. I'm sorry. The flower of life.
Oh.
That's the one.
Oh, that's easy.
Nope.
It's
got to be the one with like 36. Yeah. That black, white one. Yep, those black, white ones there. I mean, you could, that one there is perfect. That is the symbol, and this is the oldest symbol known to man. Cat Williams talked about this. This is in ancient India, and this predates basically all written record. And what he basically says is you can basically get all of the 5 shapes out of there that they use for Pythagoras theorem and the triangle. And basically what Terrence Howard is saying is the only reason that we have straight lines is because they thought that the world was flat still, so that they thought that the universe operated in a straight line. But in reality, the universe operates in 3 dimensions. And what Terrence Howard has done, he has over 50 patents, and he has patented the shapes in between when bubbles of molecules connect. And he basically has described a model of the universe that doesn't have gravity. And he was able to replicate the planet Saturn in a planet simulator that they use at NASA and everything. And it's so crazy. I sent the podcast to my father even. I'm not kidding you, Dave. It's long and I didn't understand it. You just have to listen to this shit. It's unbelievable. And you know what? With everything that I don't believe, this shit sounded more believable than anything I've heard in a long time. Because just the thought.
I was gonna say I don't know what this is, but do you want me to play this?
Just run it.
What would it be?
I don't think I know.
My first memory.
Oh, this is great.
Was almost like when you're dreaming and you're falling, and you hit the bottom and you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first memory, but I didn't wake up here. I was inside my mother's womb. And I was about maybe 6 months inside the womb. And I'm like, okay, don't forget I'm here. Okay. Don't forget. You go to sleep. You wake up again. Now something's moving in front of you.
That was a really weird. Okay, they cut it off.
That's
at a
how the
terrible time.
podcast opens.
Is
And he
is
goes
that the
on to
flower
say,
of life on his neck? Is that what that is? The necklace?
type Terrence Howard. I mean, I don't even know what to look up. He brings, dude. He makes a fucking light. Type in Terrence Howard, light. Terrence Howard light, and it will show you a picture of what it is, dude. He makes lights out of these fucking shapes that are naturally occurring. It's just, I can't even describe it. But he said the periodic table is wrong, and that everything is based on frequencies in the entire universe, and we can basically fix everything. We can change the solids and everything with frequency, basically. So you can repair your DNA with frequency. And he's got cancer stuff, and he's patenting this stuff. And he said the reason I patented it, he hasn't talked about it since until he patents it. Look at those. That's a real light, and those shapes there are the shapes that are in between. If you go, like, you'd have to put them next to each other. But when the flower of life, if you were to think of all those circles, all those things, right, all those circles that make the flower of life, if you think of them as a 3-dimensional bubble. But this is why you need to watch the podcast, because he actually fucking shows you what he's talking about. And those are the shapes that are left over when 6 bubbles meet, or 2 bubbles meet, or 36 bubbles meet. There's empty space there. And he took that empty space and he has made shapes and structures out of them. And he basically says, like, he found the keys to the universe. And that clip about waking up in the womb is how the podcast started. And he goes on to further say that he used to, like, lucid dream at like 5 years old, that he would go, maybe it was 9, whatever, to like a mansion, and this figure would give him fucking the shapes, those shapes. He would give them to him. And then he would wake up with this knowledge. Now, I know he's an actor and all this stuff, but I will tell you, dude, like, you got to listen to it. You have to. Like, this is a type of thing that, like, you don't get a second chance to listen to before it's talked about, because it changed the way I looked at everything. Now, granted, I could be just a conspiracy theorist, David, but if they've lied about everything else, he explains the things in space. He explains the Big Bang. He says you can actually measure the universe's age because it moves so much per thing, because all he said basically every solar system, all the matter that makes the planets come from the sun.
What would have been? Oh man, I would love to talk to this guy. What would have been in existence before the universe? Right? If the universe has an age, then there would have been a time when it didn't have an age.
Yeah, I think he may talk about that. I don't.
Fucking
He
crazy
goes
to think.
into
It's like
he
chicken
goes.
the egg on the next level, right?
Well, he said that, and he actually said that the chicken had to come before the egg. But he references, and he basically says that the biggest fault in Newtonian physics basically is that they put electric and magnetism together and make electric magnetism, when he actually said that the universe runs on electricity, and the negative to electricity is magnetism. So, like, electricity wants to start at the center.
Doesn't magnetism create electricity?
The way you're thinking it does. Because what is electricity, David? I'm an electrician. This is why it's so mind-blowing to me, because I'm an electrician.
Well, I'm
And
saying,
what
like,
is the
that's
theory?
just crazy,
It's still
crazy to think about, though.
right, but it's still a theory of electrical. And he referenced something 120 degrees when he talked about making Saturn with those shapes. He says if you put them and you can measure the angle of incidence, he calls them, or something. I don't know what it means. So you got to listen to the shit. He said at 120 degrees that he did this model at 120 degrees and it made Saturn without gravity. Do you know what your outlet is in your house, David?
Yeah.
What is it?
You mean 120 volt?
The universe is ran on electric, David. Do you know why they use 120 volt? Do you think they made that number up? That's the thing about the theory of electrical. We harnessed electrical. We make fire. Like, this is the problem. We make fire. When you turn on your stove, the flame. What we're doing is just spinning magnets at the end of your outlet. It literally goes to a place that all it does is this with copper around it. It doesn't touch. It's like a invisible force. It's not, but 120, they didn't make that up. That's just what they had to do. That's how they were able to get it stable. That's how AC works. AC current works at 120, 240. That's what the transformer does. It changes the frequency of the electrical. And then once again, we got to stop thinking when you see a diagram of this, you got to think about it as a wave. It's 3 dimensions. So that thing's a circle as it's doing this. Because we were taught based on Pythagorean theorem and 5,000 years of Greek literature that everything's flat. We built the whole universe off a right triangle, but there's not one right triangle in nature. How can it be based on a right triangle? It's based on that flower of life, which is what was used to make mathematics, but they didn't add that layer here. It's crazy. But he's patenting the shapes. Like when he's up there talking about it, it's proven and been approved that this is undeniable. And he made drones that operate. They go underwater. They can fly to space. He said, we'll never be able to send anybody to Mars because all the nitrogen's out of the atmosphere because the frequency is different. He explains so many different things, so many little things like about why you get shorter. It's because the nitrogen is leaving your cells. Because everything in the universe is based on nitrogen. Because electricity goes out the top and goes back to its middle, right? To its middle. And then he says it doesn't happen because what happens before it gets to the middle, right before magnetism takes over, boom, and sucks it back down to the bottom. Boom, boom, boom. And that's how the universe operates, which is why it's the tree of life. There's all these little, like, all little spheres. And I know it's dorky science stuff. But in the day and age when philosophy and question asking, David, are the new superpower, you have to go watch that podcast. And once again, they have trouble on their program. The technical issues that Jamie has on that program, it's pretty funny. Nothing for nothing, David. But they remind me of something. Surely it's feedback. Yeah, look, I had other shit, but just based on today's episode, first of all, fuck YouTube. You know, that bothered me. You know, and I told my sister, she called me, and I said fuck YouTube out loud, like out of just sporadically. She's like, you're still upset about that. And I was like, I'm going to be mad about that for forever, Marissa. Like, forever. I'll be forever mad about not being able to post on the internet. And I'm also mad about people just thinking it's okay. Right? And why do they think it's okay, David? Well, they're a private company. Well, they get global money from a global government. They're not a private company. It's actually a global institution, David. They're an arm of a global government. So the global government is censoring my and my friends' dumb YouTube channel. And that's fine because it's just a dumb YouTube channel. Because they would never censor Candace Owens, David, clearly.
I take a lot of issue with them selling my data and not allowing our content. I feel like
and then make $1 billion. I
feel like I should have like give me some place there.
Dave, forever the stoic about it. Like, burn these people down. You're like, you know, if you're gonna sell my data, at least allow me to be like on the internet without throttling my information. He's asking for the rights back nicely.
That'd be pretty
dude,
cool.
I did have a bunch of stuff.
I did just say Jan 6th didn't go far enough, so
yeah, we need Jan 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th and 11th. Ask your kids to ask better questions. Teach your kids to ask better questions. That's the moral of today's story. Seriously. Diddy, Drake, Kendrick beef, that was on the list. I'm not getting to any of this. I'm just telling you what was on the list. The Terrence Howard stuff. Noticing shifts in yourself.
I will say, Ryan, I did listen to a couple of the songs between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. And Not Like Us is crazy.
They Not Like Us. They Not
That
like
song
us.
is fucking crazy.
So great. Meet the Grams is gnarly.
Dude, some of the like double triple entendres and Not Like Us. What is it? What does he
Dude.
say? I'll probably strike a chord, or it'll strike a chord, and it's probably A
Chord
minor.
probably A
Dude, that's
minor.
fucking crazy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and it happens at 69 seconds in the song, David. And what is one of the bars? He's a 69 god.
My God, crazy. Fucking crazy.
That's
That
one of the
song's
great
crazy.
songs ever written. Just one of the great songs ever written. Just like, how do you murder somebody without murdering somebody? Fuck YouTube. Did I say that already? Oh, fuck New York State. I got pulled over today. They said my inspection was overdue, David.
Was it overdue?
Yeah, I mean, only 2 months. I haven't looked at it in a while, so I didn't really know.
Sounds like you haven't looked at it in 14 months.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Look, I get it. Okay, I've worked on cars. But look, the guy that makes $100,000 a year pulled me over for a $20 sticker. Just pay the toll, Ryan. Just put the juice in the oven. The car's fucking fine. I pay for the roads. I pay for the courts. I pay for the tolls that I haven't paid either, you fucks. It's bullshit. I'm tired of it. How much more of my money do you need when you're the 5th largest economy in the fucking world?
Is that real?
Like 15th. I don't know. It's up there.
Oh. Like,
New
what
York
the
State
fuck?
is one of the largest
Insane.
economies in the states. Like, it's one of the
Oh, yeah, that I
top
believe.
economies. Yeah. California is like the 5th largest economy in the world. Dude, you already have enough of my money. Enough. I'm done. The cop's going to drop dead from his 17 vaccines that he's got to get because he won't have a pension. What are we talking about, dude? And I'm the crazy one. I'll just pay the fine, Ryan. You can't yell at a judge. What do you mean? It's we the people. You work for me. Of course I can yell at you. You work for me. What are you going to sue? You're going to sue we the people? The New York State government's going to sue me for giving harassment to them? Fuck you. $100,000 employee a year is what the cop makes with benefits, roughly, I'm guessing, for a $20 sticker. Because I'm just told to do it to keep everybody else safe. They spy on me to keep everybody else safe. They tax me to oblivion to keep everybody safe by spending it in Ukraine. We got kids fucking starving. Worried about my inspection sticker. We got kids doing drugs. We're worried about a fucking sticker. Lick the boot. Like, I don't know what to do. I want to go down there, honestly, and just get a jury trial for it and tell them I think it's bullshit that there's New York State inspections. And fight them every inch of the way. I don't need a lawyer. Why would I need a lawyer? The lawyer has an invested interest to keep the system afloat. It's corrupt. They're jailing former presidents and plane crashing the ones that they don't like. I'm not doing that. Now put me in jail. Feed me 3 hots of cop. I'm not shutting up. This isn't keyboard warrior. Just come and get you, Dave. You better fucking contact PBD and have him come bail me out because he's all for America and Georgia and covering the shit. I'm flawed too, yo. I'm not am I wrong? Do I seem silly? Just go down there, Ryan. Just pay the fine. Take the day off work to go down to court. Get a fucking jury trial. Fuck you, dude. How'd you know that my sticker was bad? You didn't see my little punch hole from the... You were driving behind me. Did you run my license plate? Well, if you ran my license plate, that's fine. But why'd you run my license plate? Was I speeding? Because that's not what you told me. You said my inspection's bad. You only knew it was bad because you ran my fucking license plate. And then you gave me shit for not having my registration. Not having my registration match. I don't need it to match. It's in the fucking database. Well, according to New York State, fuck you. I pay for the road. I pay for the cop. I pay for the court. I pay for the toll. I pay for the tires. I pay for the gas. I pay for the car. Go on, guys. Go get your 8% mortgage on your $400,000 house that you'll never pay off and tell me I'm the crazy one for trying to stop it. For trying to just look at a judge and saying, you're not getting $20 on me. I'll drive without a driver's license. You're going to arrest me? You'll let the rapist go, though, right? Bail reform. You won't let the political dissidents go. That's right, because we're jailing former presidents. So what will they do to some dude on the internet? Some dude with a full-time job, some regular average person. Just climb in the ovens, Dave. Turn it on 375. It'll take about 5 hours. Turn once or
There's
twice.
probably a legal case against scanning your plate.
For what? To go to
That's a
another court,
warrantless.
to another court, to
No,
another court, to another.
in general though. There probably is like an actual legal because that's a warrantless search, right? Search and seizures of a person and effects. Effects are
David, they own the plates though.
they own the plate.
They're a
Oh,
New York
that's how they
State
get you,
plate.
right?
When you
That's how they
yeah,
get you.
well, let's go full dumb legalese here that nobody cares to know about. When you actually register your vehicle, you're registering it through the Department of Motor Vehicles of New York State. So what you're basically giving your car is a social security number, which is your license plate. I know we all know this, but I want you to think about the words because New York State cares about their property, which is the license plate. And what is the license plate tied to, David? The vehicle's VIN number, which is
Which is your
basically the
effect.
DNA, which is basically the DNA of the car. Tells you where it was made, what color it is, what engine package, if it has blue interior or if it has red interior. And if you don't think that you can't find it on a VIN number, then you don't know what you're talking about, YouTube. But yeah, and then it's your effects, David. It's 100% your effects, but is it your effects if you have a car loan on it, David? Because it's actually Chase Bank's
Then
car right now.
then it's shared effects.
Shared effects. What are those, David? Clearly, the bank doesn't have the same rights as a individual citizen in America, David. Are you saying that the bank has equal, if not more, rights than the United States?
That would mean corporations have rights.
How can corporations have rights, David? They're not an individual because in
I
this
would
country,
love.
only individuals and citizens have rights.
Well, this is
David.
Citizens United. I would love for this to go to the Supreme Court. Brian, take it to the Supreme Court. We're running this. I will represent you.
Do you think I should really? I'll go down there and make a big deal, see what happens. I just
We're
don't want to
taking
get.
this bitch.
What
Let's go
happens
to
if
the
you get
Supreme Court.
charged with contempt of court? Like, can I fight contempt of court by contempt in court? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, I'm not going to be able to get a lawyer. There's nobody in there because they're going to tell me to shut up. I'm going to tell them I'm not shutting up. I'm not going to. What am I getting representation for? For a lesser jail sentence? Oh, you just, you only took my rights a little bit. William Wallace fucking said, freedom. I know that's a movie. It's hyper romanticized. But they did cut that guy's head off and put it on London Bridge. And they did cut his dick off and drag him through the fucking town square and mutilate him and cut his arms and legs off and put him on all four corners of England so that people knew that they weren't going to fight in the oppressive English government and dare ask for freedom and liberty. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll fight that fucking $20 goddamn New York State ticket. And you know what? I may get a contempt of court ticket. Imagine if I'm arrested for fighting for an inspection ticket, and then everybody's gonna just pay the fine. I can hear my mother. Just pay the fine, Ryan. You're gonna ruin your life. No, I'm gonna end inspections. Why am I inspecting my property to a government entity for to begin with? Dave Ryan, December 1773. Catch us on. I don't know if they'll let me air in prison, but I will be there and
Rumble.
Dave will always be there on Rumble. The only place that will allow us until they are bought by YouTube and become part of their oligopoly. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Yeah, follow us on Rumble, most importantly. And fuck YouTube. But as always, David, I appreciate you most for your time and everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, it's definitely Rumble. It's definitely Rumble. You can follow on X. You can follow on.
Dude, will that hold in court, though? Get a jury
TikTok
trial?
and whatever. I don't care. Yeah,
get a jury trial.
Jury your peers. Presumably a jury your peers, right?
There is no jury of my peers, David. I'm a man of God. I am a spirit. I am the essence of all the universal gods channeled into one man, just like every other man, woman, and child. I am an individual unlike any other individual in the history of all individuals, David. I have a unique strain of DNA that cannot be replicated no matter how close you get. I do not have a twin or a clone. Even twins have different fingerprints, David. See, you know what's funny now that I even think about this? If AI, right, I'm told that AI, the superpower of the future, is question asking, right? What does philosophy do to the law?
That's a good question, right?
I don't know. I guess I'll find out over a $20 inspection sticker. I shouldn't have to inspect my private property.
Never
Dave Ryan,
stop
sub
asking me questions.
1773. It is a superpower, David. It is a superpower. Tune into Rumble for the superpower of the future. As always, David, I appreciate you most for your time. Until the end, I'll be there, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.